You're welcome to our studio. This morning, we'll be kicking off from what happened yesterday. Release NnamdiKanu now. But it didn't happen. It was supposed to be
no, not supposed to happen. It was supposed to tinker the president.
But they said release him now. Now means now. Or now, Philip would make it make sense to me.
For me, it was supposed to be the now. The idea was to pressurize the government to release him now. And the now doesn't happen. So where does it go from there?
Okafor read engineering.
Not only engineering, I also read finance.
I know. That one is money matter. But when you
I read management. I read politics.
Okafor wouldn't be talk. Now, that now means that we are ready to receive Kanu now. But we also know that we are a nation of law and justice. Yeah. That the matter is already in court, but they want to send a message to the government that we want Nnamdi Kanu case either expedited through the judiciary because he has been incarcerated for a long time, and we don't want it to be like that. So that's why the now is there.
All right, Philip, Kingsley has made me believe that the now was a little bit, how do I call it, symbolic. It doesn't mean what it means. You know, we write our laws in English, yet we go to Supreme Court Justice to tell us what it means. Maybe we don't understand English.
Maybe we don't understand it.
So he has interpreted it to us. But let's move from that. A lot of destruction yesterday, and some bank officials couldn't get to the bank. Like yesterday, I called my accounting officer. She couldn't make it down there, and because the road was blocked and all that. And this was the same yesterday that the government told us that everybody should go about their normal businesses. Like you have always said, that a peaceful protest is part of normal business because it's not meant to stop others from also carrying out their own lawful activity. So it is guaranteed by our Constitution. So the question we are asking is this: this event has come and gone. We'll discuss some of the fallout as we move ahead. But the principal question I want us to face is this: they are in the court today to discuss the matter. Where will Nigeria go with Nnamdi Kanu? Is it the direction that the government is pushing them to go to the court to get justice, that you don't get justice from the street, or Nigerians will go to the street to get their own justice? At least in a way they think that the Constitution guarantees the right to protest. Where will they face starting from now? Do they calm down and say, okay, let's be patient with this court one more time, even while they have not been able to, convict him within almost 3 years now? But let's still be patient with them. Which direction are we going to move?
Interesting. You know, PK has given us interpretation
of now.
But don't forget, that is the court of first instance. We say I reserve the right to appeal to get a clearer interpretation of now of what they have said to us. Now, coming to the issue of what will be the affirmation of this protest, like he said, that the now is just to put pressure. If they know that the matter is already before a court, a competent court of jurisdiction that will hear the matter and disperse justice, why will they have to go to the street and take laws into their hand? But for me, I think, yes, when you say the matter is coming up today for this, no matter is coming up today for discussion. What is before the court today, before we hear that the abacadabra, was that the federal government, through the Nigerian police force, should put Nnamdi Kanu, the defender and others, on notice to show cause why they should not be restrained from taking to the street to protest the release of Nnamdi Kanu, which rest has been destroyed.
By yesterday.
The event has come and gone. So whether they are in court today or not is mere academic exercise. It will amount to nothing because there's nothing to restrain anymore. So that being said, we now come to the issue.
Now, I wanted to ask, the suit was specifically for the yesterday or any other subsequent protest in that was specifically for yesterday?
Well, I cannot speak on that because I haven't had the opportunity
But
of
that will determine whether the rest is destroyed or not.
Exactly, to see the process. So
Yeah.
I don't know what is contained
Yeah.
on that process. But all I know was that it was an ex parte motion.
Yeah.
But there's no ex parte motion
Without
without
a substantive
exactly. So I don't know
that's
what
why
it contains. So I can't speak on that.
Yeah.
But what I can speak on is what happened hereafter. Are they going to continue with the protest until Nnamdi Kanu is released, or they are going to enter their respective home and continue with their normal business?
Yes.
If that's what is going to happen, then why go out yesterday to protest when you know you cannot achieve the result? So that is one. Secondly, the federal government has said that the matter is before a court of law, and the court that I think I was I read one of the media man from the presidency saying that justice are they are found in the court and not in the street. That if you are looking for justice, you have been oppressing justice, you go to court. Yes, I agree with him, but the issue is here: how long has Kanu been with the federal government? Because you went to Kenya, whether you abduct him, whether you arrested him, or whatever way, with the fact that you have clear evidence, and you brought the man back home, you charge him to court, and the man has been in court for how many years? You have not been able to conclude the trial one way or the other, whether it's convicted or acquitted, and you are saying that the man should continue to remain in court. That is the injustice that Nigeria went out yesterday to protest against. I think what Nigeria went out for is not just the release of Kanu, but I have said it before and I will say it again, that Nigeria went out yesterday to protest against injustice, because the court now become an instrument of injustice. Because if a man is brought before the court for a trial of that magnitude, of that offense, what the court should do is to expedite the trial. They never did that. They kept adjourning from one point to another every other day. Now the adjournment, you can't imagine the numbers of adjournment you have had. And also, the court has also ruled several times that Nnamdi Kanu should regain his freedom and come for home to stand his trial. The federal government has refused to obey any of the ruling of the court. So this is why the people took to the street yesterday to protest against the injustice. Though they target, release Kanu now, what they are saying is that, look, we need justice for Nnamdi Kanu, whichever way you want to do. If you want to, if you want to jail him, convince him. Let us know that he's convicted and he's a convict. Not that the man is just languishing in police detention or DSS detention without knowing his fate, whether he's an innocent or he's found guilty. That's what is playing out. So the alphabet will be that, yes, the court is there. What I think the court should do from here is to expedite the trial so that Nnamdi Kanu will know his fate, and Nigeria will know that this is the fate of Nnamdi Kanu.
Okay, let me also come to you on this, because it's really going to determine what happens henceforth. Going to the streets to get your voices heard, going to the court. Of course, the people didn't go to the court. It was even the government themselves that went to the court. But let's just put it this way: going to the court to now defend yourself or show solidarity to the person that is being accused, are they mutually exclusive? Can't you do both? Is there any law that says you can't protest on a matter that is on trial? Because especially in this case, let me imagine now somebody coming to detain you to answer to a crime, and at the end of 4, 5, 6 years you are found not to be guilty. How do they pay back for your restrained freedom? Is that justice?
Okay, so
is that the kind of justice in court? So can't people speak out? What is it that is wrong holding people now from speaking out while the case continues?
There's nothing wrong. It's just that the government is trying to tell us that there's something wrong in speaking out because the matter is in court. But Philip has already given us a background. The background that says the federal government has flaunted a lot of court judgment against this same person. So if court rulings against this same person. Now, if they have flaunted these rulings, that means they that are the custodians of the law don't even respect the law. They're the one that's supposed to adjudicate the law, but they have left the law behind because of selfish reason. So what other way do the people have to make their voice known or to make their voice heard is by going for a protest. There is a constitutional right of protest which every citizen has. It's just like constitutional right of having a gun. If you have this criteria in America, it's a right. You can walk into a gun shop and buy a gun like you're buying chocolate.
But we don't want that here.
We of course.
You think we don't want it here?
We don't want it.
With the space of insecurity.
No, we don't want it. It has its own riverside. Let's not get into that.
Let's not get
I lived in America for some years, so I can tell you. It has. I know you did too. We're almost in US at the same time. So it has. Do you want gun?
I don't mind.
I mind.
We mind
Very well. Self-protection.
People are already driving one way now, but
when you give these people guns.
No, so because of that, the people have to come out one way or the other to speak. And this, you can't say I can't give you my vote, right, to represent me, and you say I cannot speak. So in the case of Nnamdi Kanu, people said, no, this is not right, and the only way to tell government that is not right is to protest. Now, like we said yesterday, the government told us that there is an order not to a court restriction not to protest. Number one, we have not seen it, we have not heard of it. We just only heard. Nobody has declared it. There was no sitting. It was obtained how? Which lawyer represented who? I don't know if you understand.
I can
so
get that.
these are the questions we ought to be asking. Now, the people went out to protest. We didn't hear that the people were violent. They were unruly.
Well, I said from police reports that people were preventing other road users from using it effectively.
Who are the people that blocked the road that was coming from Maraba to inside Abuja? Who was the person that blocked? Was it not soldiers that were at Bega Junction? We didn't hear that the people all complaint came in from the citizenry that people blocked them from going to anywhere they are going. No, we didn't hear those kind of things. The only one we know was that the police was everywhere, tear gassing everywhere. They are the one that blocked the federal secretariat, blocked around so that people will not get access to where the gathering of the protest is.
All right, Philip. You know, the FG is like saying, which they may not be far from truth. It's only the way they represented it. Let's make this thing clear. It wasn't Asiwaju that kidnapped or arrested Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya. You know, but it is within his powers now to now know what to do. Even while the case is in court, there can always be a political solution. Of course, for any criminal case, the president, if president can forgive somebody, the court, entire judiciary has convicted. So withdrawing the charge is not a problem. But now, federal government is saying that people, oppositions are trying to hijack this Nnamdi Kanu thing to now start venting their anger and also to start scoring some cheap political points here and there. Even if you listen to this Shaya Oladejo, the spokesperson of Lagos State APC chapter, he was categorically saying that the people should not use something that's happening in a fraction of the country, somewhere in southeast, by those who couldn't win at the polls, coming to the street to win what they couldn't win at the polls. I mean, the polls of 2023 is probably the most dramatic election Nigerians have ever had. And in fact, I can authoritatively tell you that if you go doing any kind of sampling across Nigerian spectrum, they do not believe that glitch was the best we could get. But putting that aside, who is politicizing this? Is it the federal government or the opposition?
Now, you know, when you started your narration, you did start by saying the federal government, or rather Tinubu, was not the person in power when Nnamdi Kanu was arrested and charged to court. The question I ask is, do we have two federal government of Nigeria?
Exactly. No, I'm not relieving, but I'm
asking these people.
Yes. Okay.
Is government continue, or is as if one government, one person finished his tenure, then that government has ended? So if that's what it is, then Nnamdi should go home after Buhari tenure. So because when you make some statement thinking that you are making a very cogent point, you end up implicating yourself. Don't forget the government that arrested Nnamdi Kanu was the APC.
Myself or Shane?
I am talking about those who are making those statements.
Okay.
The government that arrested Nnamdi Kanu was an APC government. Are we having another party in power today for them to come to say that, oh, we inherited Nnamdi Kanu case?
Even though we have.
Of course, government is continuous. Even in regions like the American and British, where the party line is so sharp, you have the Republican, the Democrat, the Conservative, and the Liberal. Whenever, or the Labour, whenever one party leaves power, for instance, in America today, the Democrat just give way to the Republican. Does it mean that the action of the Democrat were set aside? No. Whatever that's happened, the war in Ukraine and Israel that Donald Trump inherited is fighting to ensure that this war come to an end one way or the other.
So does that justify Asiwaju's continuous detention of Nnamdi Kanu?
So what I am saying, that Ahmed Bola Tinubu and his men cannot excuse themselves not being the people who is heading Nnamdi Kanu hostage. Now the question is this: I have said it before and I'll say it again, that this man, you have raw evidence, that's why you went after him and you got him arrested. So because there's what we call res issa liquido, the evidence speaks for itself. If you have such clear evidence against this man, why is it taking this long? What I have said on this table this morning is this: decide the fate of Nnamdi Kanu one way or the other. The man is languishing in detention, in police detention or DSS detention. He's not counting for it that he's spending his jail term, assuming he's convicted of the offense, right? Neither is the man is having his freedom. So you do the needful. The courts are they are under the government, because the box stops at Tinubu's table. You understand? He stopped at his table. So the issue, what the protests amount to is that the president should ensure that the judiciary do the needful. Let them carry out the trial and come to a conclusion one way or the other. I've said it, I'm saying it again. Either you are convicting Nnamdi Kanu, so that people will know that Nnamdi Kanu has been convicted for treason of felony and is serving either a jail term of life sentence or what have you, or you even say condemned to death, whatever way you want to give to it. But don't keep this man in just keep him there in jeopardy without knowing his fate. That's what Nigerians are saying. We are not saying that Nnamdi Kanu, if he commits a crime, he should be let.
Don't be held responsible.
You understand?
All right. Sowore was, giving us the impression that they conquered the government. Is it conquering the government in the protest, whereas Nnamdi Kanu is still not released? Do we think sincerely that if this protest is a one-off situation, maybe something that's never going to happen again, that is going to count towards releasing Nnamdi Kanu, maybe pending when ahead of the conclusion of their judgment, which is becoming almost the chances of getting it completed is almost not there, because like he said, if really you could go and use all the international sources, deceive the man into Kenya, get him arrested or kidnapped down here, it means the evidence are actually before you. People expected expedition of judgment or the litigation of the case being completed even in 1 month maximum, but that has never happened.
In fact, just before you come in, there's another case of treason, the same issue of secession of the IPOB, whatever, in Finland. This was like less than 6 months. The Finland government arrested Simon Ekpa.
They are going to fix another day for another protest. Number one. Number two, the impact they wanted is to disrupt social economic activities.
Why do you want to disrupt social economic activities? That is illegal.
No, it's not illegal.
Why do you want to disrupt?
For example, if lecturers go on strike, do they disrupt?
It's different. They choose to go on strike.
That's what I'm saying.
You could choose to go on strike. You could sit at home.
But that's what I'm saying.
But you don't go preventing another person.
No, they don't prevent. When
maybe we're not clear about that.
No,
Because when you are talking about
disruption is that
when you are disrupting another person,
if you know
you can disrupt yourself. You don't go disrupting another person.
And that means that the protest is no longer peaceful.
Exactly. Once you disrupt another person, you give the police the opportunity to come in. That means the protest is no longer peaceful.
But you allow me to explain. You have not allowed me to explain.
Yeah, but I have to cut you so we don't misinform.
No. We're not misinforming people.
Yeah.
For example, they came out yesterday to protest.
Yeah.
Who blocked the road?
No, everybody said.
No.
I was asking the objective. You said they also wanted to disrupt social activities.
That's their intention. Because the only way they will be held by the government is to make sure that things are disrupted. That's the truth. Because the government on their own are disrupting things and not making
so
things
eventually you are going to justify the police coming out because they have the duty to ensure that you do not disrupt other people's business.
So if you talk, you allow me to also.
You have been. I'm responding to you.
Now the disruption that they want
to disrupt themselves.
That's
beautiful.
By that, people are also disrupted.
That's consequential for them. But I agree with you on that ground.
That's what I'm saying.
If I choose not to go to work, my employer can be affected.
You have to allow me to talk.
Go ahead.
Now, when they decided to destroy themselves, the police came out. Now, when the police came out, the police blocked the road. Who blocked the road? They went out there that blocked the road. They gathered in a particular place. I was saying, free Nnamdi Kanu now, marching from one particular spot to another spot. Now, if the people feel that the place is not safe enough, everything is disrupted. Whichever way you do, protest disrupt.
Certainly.
Exactly. So you don't go with the intention of saying I want to shut down everything in a violent way. Yeah. But whichever way you do things, protest disrupt.
But what is the impact of this towards release of Nnamdi Kanu?
That's what I'm saying.
Because at the end of it, if we make all this noise, the man that's been incarcerated, the man that is not moving out this morning, the man that doesn't have opportunity to sit like we are seated and be talking about Nigeria is still in detention. So if you score whatever points you want to score, and this man, it does not lead towards this man coming out, at the end of the day, you have ended up working for yourself, so making yourself more popular or whatever. How does this protest, if it remains one-off occasion, help in bringing out?
That's what I'm saying. From what you already told us, it's not a one-off occasion.
Okay.
They are going to have another one. That's number one. Number two, the protest that we have seen all around the world is to convey a message in a particular way and form. Now, since the court have failed these people, they are conveying this message in a particular form, and it's protest. And it's a right. You see, if it was not necessary, it would not be in the constitution. Maybe we would have just given somebody a right to say, just rule, whether we like it or we don't like it, just rule us.
So, Philip, I'm going to come to you with this in another way. It is our ability to exercise our right that is guaranteed in the Constitution. For example, the freedom to do any peaceful protest. Does it by any means say that is a wrong way to seek for justice, or it is even superior even to the court ruling?
Well,
because it's constitutionally guaranteed.
Well, we're talking about superiority. You can't really say per se, but again, protest is a legal channel for people to express their grievances and to pass their message on to those in authority that are saddled with the responsibility of taking decision in that regard. The court of law is another avenue of, in most cases, it is not to express your grievance and all that. People go to court with dispute, who could not resolve their dispute within themselves. The court is an arbiter, sits over that dispute and resolve it one way or the other. So there are two different channels. You know, they are not of the same purpose. But when you come to the protest, it has its own impact and results. So, what I know protest to be peaceful protest, it is the unity among people to say that we don't want this, and say it in such a way without disrupting any activity, but the message is being passed. And if we have a responsible government or people who are in authority, they listen to them because they can't see everything. So this protest is such a way that, it brings to their attention that they were not doing things rightly, but their failure to adhere to the principle of protest that leads to other things, like what you see in Madagascar and Nepal in recent times.
Yeah.
Because we have seen protests all over the world, and government have attended to this request, and they have been gone on peacefully without disrupting any activities. Protests have been on for 3, 4 days, 7 days in Europe, all over Europe, and consistently they were gathering and they were passing their message until the government, came out to address the issue, and everybody go home and go buy their normal business.
Kiss, let me come to you with this. I know you don't work with Asiwaju.
Yes.
If you are to be a sole advisor to Asiwaju, which is cheaper to do, continue to use the security forces to try to prevent them whenever they want to protest, or simply release Nnamdi Kanu?
Well, I'll call them to a table of negotiation. I won't try to suppress the people so that their voice will not be heard. Asiwaju, as we know him, is Baba of protest. Let me use that word. He's a chief protester, organizer of protest. They organized protest in 1993 during election of Abiola. He has organized many protests. The one that comes to mind for all of us, they shut down Lagos.
Against Jonathan.
So tell me that they didn't disrupt social or economic activity. They shut it down. Was it not a protest? Did they not shut down government economy? The economy was almost ruined at that particular time. Do you know how much Nigerians lost as a result of Asiwaju and all his people that shut down Lagos? And you are telling me that the protests don't shut down the economy? Protests shut down the economy, bro.
It disrupts the economy.
Even in Europe, when
protests disrupt the economy. That's why I say you do not willfully want to prevent other people from carrying out their duties. That's what we are saying.
But the thing is this: if I were to advise Asiwaju, I would tell him, listen. You must be a president that listens. He has told us that anybody can talk, but the end point starts with him. He knows what to do. No, that looks authoritarian. That looks despotic. It's not like that.
Okay, I can see you are, even while you are not yet as you are finding it difficult to release Nnamdi Kanu. Will you release Nnamdi Kanu?
Under many circumstances, I will call for a Southeast conference where all the stakeholders in the South, look, these things have solutions.
Yes.
I'll call the governors, the House of Rep member, the senators, the Ohanese Ndibo. We will talk, and I am sure if they all speak to Kanu, listen. We all were here, or some of us are not born in 1967, but we knew that there could have been a political solution in 1967. If there was a political solution in 1967, we would have seen the Civil War.
All right, good. Philip, let me come to you. Just about the same thing, because truthfully, we want a Nigeria that is together. We are not the same people. There's no need pretending. The name Nigeria came to meet us as different tribes with different languages, with different cultures, even though they are similar along the line. Okay, even across Africa there are similarities, but different tribes. We want this Nigeria to be together, but a successful and an equitable Nigeria. You can't force anybody to remain in any place where he or she does not feel is being subject to equal laws. But that said, if you are the president today, or you are even advisor of the president, so we don't misinterpret it to be part of Tommy's parallel government. You have to be an advisor. You have to be advisor to Mr. President today. Will you tell him, save us the heck of blocking the road, like I said, preventing people from protesting, releasing Nnamdi Kanu, whatever modalities you want to use? Which way would you advise him to go?
For me,
2027 is coming. He needs to prepare for re-election.
For me,
so they don't disrupt him.
For me, the president do not need anybody whatsoever before he can release Nnamdi Kanu. The constitution empowers the president.
Yes.
The president can release Nnamdi Kanu through the Attorney General and the Minister of Justice of the Federation. I said it yesterday and I say it again. There's a provision that gives the Attorney General power to exercise non prosequi, wherein the Attorney General will fight to call that he withdraws all the charges against Nnamdi Kanu and let him go. He's no longer interested in prosecuting Nnamdi Kanu. You know what happened in the case of Sunday Igboho? Do they call any stakeholder meeting?
And this man was caught in the Republic of Benin. It would have been easier to kidnap him with horse, without any. Yet it didn't happen. In fact, we could have forced the
question I'm asking people: were there stakeholder of the Southwest called before he was released? Why Nnamdi Kanu will require stakeholder meetings? Exercise the constitutional power you have to release Nnamdi Kanu. Withdraw the charges, since you cannot prove the charges in court. You've been in court for about 3 years.
Especially when you are not, even though government is a continuum, especially when you are not the commander-in-chief, when that decision was taken, you could look at the fruit, that is a futile, there's nothing in this thing. It's a futile effort going to kidnap this man, and for the cohesion, you can do that.
And the reason why I will advise Mr. President to take this route is for his political benefit, because election is by the corner. And he didn't do very well in the Southeast at that time. And I know the president is calling favor from people, whether you like that's what politician does.
But that's what it is. But that's politics.
So that's politics. So I don't have anything against him. He can win Nnamdi Kanu to his side. Nnamdi Kanu could go to the east and campaign for him. After all, Lawan Farouk was said, I lie down wherever I am, praising Mr. President, that this year Allah has used it to do for him. He will live to remember it. Nnamdi Kanu can be the next person that will be singing that praise, that this thing God had done through him, or Jesus Christ had done to through the president. He will ever remain grateful to the president, just like Lawan Farouk. So for me, Mr. President had a lot of things to handle. He shouldn't let Nnamdi Kanu give, like they rightly said, room to politicians to curry unnecessary favor to gain cheap political popularity.
Okay.
I have not finished because they have said through their spokesperson in Lagos State APC that politicians are trying to gain cheap popularity. Mr. President, stop this opposition politician from gaining cheap popularity.
You take it.
Release Nnamdi Kanu and let Nnamdi Kanu remain grateful to you.
Okay, we need to also look at what surrounds the case of Nnamdi Kanu and the case of Sunday Igboho. The case of Nnamdi Kanu is different of Igboho, though they are all secession cases. But the tenacity, the voracious way Nnamdi Kanu portrays his case is different from that of Sunday Igboho. All of them need different political approach. If I were to advise the president, the reason you call for an Eastern, Southeast convention or congress or forum or whatever it is because Nnamdi Kanu has also said something. He said, leave me in Abuja if you will not give me Biafra. The only way you release me is that you give me Biafra, which is not tenable. It's not sustainable. It can't give him Biafra. We don't even have Biafra to give. There is no Biafra. There is Nigeria. That's the truth. That's what all of us are saying. We stay together, we live together, but that's why a political solution is necessary. Anybody that calls for Biafra is an enemy of Nigeria. We don't want to go. I don't think don't want to go away.
But you are not part of Biafra. You are from Edo State.
It doesn't matter. The South Side, when you get the South Side too, we don't want to go. We are better together.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And I think that's the song everybody's singing. No matter how Sowore is saying free Nnamdi Kanu now, I don't think Sowore wants Nigeria to disintegrate.
Certainly.
So that's why a political solution of calling for some of the Eastern leaders as well are also using this opportunity to make sure that Nnamdi Kanu is incarcerated. Because he will disrupt their equation when he comes back. You see, there are a lot of tricks to this thing. That's why the president can't just release Nnamdi Kanu, just go. No. It won't be possible. I don't think that would be right. What he needs to do is to call people.
So what you are saying now that Nnamdi Kanu's right does not matter in this case, whether his right is being trampled upon, as guaranteed by the constitution of the country we call Nigeria that we want to remain. It doesn't really matter, whether he's incarcerated. God forbid we learn that he is not too well. God forbid anything happens. A healthy man can die, a sick man can die, anybody can. Yeah. And the man goes in for that. It has happened to Abiola. We keep crying and all that. Do you think those things doesn't matter until there is a political solution that will not hurt some other persons?
You see, the right of Nnamdi Kanu is very important, but the right for us to stay as Nigeria, as a sovereign nation, but it supersedes that of Nnamdi Kanu. I can tell you that one. The sovereignty of this nation is above the right of Nnamdi Kanu. That is the truth.
But it's the people that give the sovereignty.
That's what I'm saying. He's not the only one in the country.
Okay, now I'm coming to us. Let's not trail this into any other thing. Go back to Atiku Abubakar saying that Boko Haram was mishandled. We knew how Boko Haram started from killing the head and all that till where we are today. And our power to remain a sovereign nation is being threatened because of how a leader, was handled. You understand that somebody, you said is a ferocious group and things like that, and whatever. You know that when a leader of a group like this that say, you see them sing, Nnamdi Kanu is our savior. You see them sing things like that, very indoctrinated songs and things like that. You do know that if anything happens to a leader like this, even when they were not clearly violent, they obviously and certainly become violent. Go to any place in the history in the whole world where a leader of this sort was caught or killed or anything happens to the person. There is no, the only way Nigeria could quell that of Abiola, no matter how you think Yoruba people are peaceful, was to ensure that the Yoruba man becomes the president. Yeah. That was the only way they could quell it. Was to ensure that a Yoruba man becomes president. That's why it was not contentious. That's how you saw 1999. It calmed the nerves down. Obasanjo was in the prison, sentenced to what? Death. He was in the prison and he was brought out to become the president.
That's the political solution.
Yeah, he was brought out to become the president. So now the care of should anything go wrong with Nnamdi Kanu, how careful can government be about that care?
You see, this issue, the matter of Nnamdi Kanu is a very complex matter. I don't want to dive into the political aspect of it. I have said before that what Nigeria went out for yesterday and what they are saying is the injustice aspect of it. That's why I said on this table this morning that, look, the federal government, through the court, should do the needful. The matter should be concluded one way or the other. I can't help but to agree with him that the sovereignty of this country is far above any other person's right. So, if Nnamdi Kanu has committed offense and the law has said so through the court, whether he dies as a person, for instance, he's sentenced to death, what will this follower do? But the law should take its full course. You understand? But if he dies without justice, that is where the danger lies. That's what we're saying. Do justice. That's why I don't want to go into the political nitty-gritty of this matter. But again, political solution could solve all of this. If you find it difficult to get the solution through the court, the non-prosecutor are talking about, you can't get it without agreeing behind that, okay, we are letting everything go. It's a political solution. It doesn't just come anyhow. So whether you will meet behind closed door or what have you, reach a solution. That's why I said Lawal Farouk today will do anything for President Bola Tinubu to come back second tenure, because the freedom he has been yearning for, he gave it to him on a platter of gold. Whether Nnamdi Kanu said before now that don't take me to the east without Biafra. Yeah. When the Mr. President sit down with him and they agree and their condition reach that, okay, yes, Nnamdi Kanu will go to the east without Biafra. All right. Like I said, there's no Biafra to give to Nnamdi Kanu.
When we come, we're going to go for 30 minutes break. When we come back, there are a few things I wanted us to 30 seconds break. There are a few things I wanted us to discuss, because this is also a British citizen, who traveled with British passport and all that. What role is the British government
international community?
Yeah, just 30 seconds break. Once we come back, we'll continue with the discussion.
Okay, 30-second break and we are back. Kafo just had an emergency maybe to mediate in the Nnamdi Kanu matter. All right, Peter, welcome.
Thank you.
Now, the matter still goes on, the Nnamdi Kanu issue. We're trying to look for a solution to it. Was the protest a good one? Was it necessary? Activities were disrupted yesterday. Is it going to continue? These are the so many questions that were. Do you think the impact of this protest was felt? Do you think the government heard them? What do you think?
Yeah, thank you for having me, and good morning, viewers. I think what Sowore did yesterday should be commended. He should be commended for being able to draw attention to these things. I was listening to you guys, and I want to put some things out here. Nnamdi Kanu was acquitted by Court of Appeal in 2022. Was acquitted. I heard you when you said government had all the necessary materials to prosecute him. With those materials, they went to court. Court acquitted him. So when people come out on the street to protest, it's not just because of Nnamdi Kanu. Yes, it's the one in focus. It's because of injustice being meted out to Nigerians. A lot of Nnamdi Kanus are in prison. They are being held not because they did something wrong, because of politics, because of their belief. You took him, you arrested him here, brought him back, you took him to a court. He was acquitted. What the government do? They appeal, they went to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court asked the case, so because they decided to try him on another case now, terrorism. They decided to try him. It's taken 3 years, and each time they go to court, there will be adjournment. The case has not been attended to. There's constant adjournment. Now there's another one coming up, I think later this month, I think on the 23rd of October this month. Watch out. They really sit for 30 minutes. They are
Going to be stalled.
Yeah, adjourn. So what Sowore is saying that simply, as Philip said, try this man. Let's have a conclusion to this matter. Since 2020 has been acquitted, you've been at this case in Supreme Court, constant adjournment. So what Sowore has done, he has dragged people's attention to this case. People now are looking at it critically. What has he actually done? We're talking about Nnamdi Kanu. He is not the first person that has been agitating for a set of Biafra. That's what was okay. Good government, manage them well. You don't manage this people well. It was this APC government that mismanaged Nnamdi Kanu issue. I can tell you. They are the one that introduced violence to it. Nnamdi did this for a while. He fizzled out. Nobody paid him attention. He did it for years, but no attention was given to him. The government practically ignored him. He fizzled out. This government made Nnamdi Kanu very bad in Southeast. And as you said, you were right. A lot of the leaders in Southeast does not want him released. Not because they hate him. He became like a mini god. He was a reference point for Southeasterners. If Nnamdi Kanu points out that you will not win the election, then the chance you win is less than 1%. So a lot of them, because of their political interests and calculation, and their business does not want him out.
But let me point out something to you so that you can still talk on that one as well. Now, Nnamdi Kanu's case has brought a lot of fallout in the Southeast. One, insecurity. ECN, unknown government, a lot of murder, and most of these murder or killings are within the Igbo ethnic group. They are not. It's not like the ECN or the unknown government will say no Hausa man should come to the east again, or no Yoruba man should come to the east. Economic damages to the south eastern part of the country as a result of Nnamdi Kanu's case. Don't you think it should not be treated like every other case?
Oh, yes, just what I said earlier. Government had all these cases. They had all this information. They took it to courts. See, we should not disregard our institutions. They had this and they took it to courts. And courts saw this and still acquitted him. It's not in my place to judge him. So, and I want to put this straight, and some people might feel like I'm defending him. I honestly, I don't really care, because I need to put this fact straight. When he was detained, there were splinter groups emerged. People took hold of these groups, and some, to get relevant, they introduced coerce, violence to their own operations. It wasn't under Nnamdi. Some of these ESM, this small call. Remember, there was at the point kidnapping and the rest were rampant in the east. Southeastern governors formed like a vigilante group.
Yeah.
It wasn't Nnamdi Kanu formed it. Yes, some of these people through the back door hijacked it. It was some of these groups were formed by Southeastern governors.
ACN.
Not this Bubago or something like that. They were formed by them.
Bubago.
Yeah, to fight this insurgency. But same thing they formed, some people from behind took over it and it became violent. And he's well attributed to him. I'm not holding brief for him. He has caused some pains in Southeast. There's not denying the fact. But for the fact that we were unable to prove this in court, he should let go.
Philip, let me come to Philip. We had the case of El Zazaki in Zaria. And I am a Zaria boy. I know what El Zazaki means to Zaria. El Zazaki used to come and pray in the mosque inside ABU because when he's coming, there's tension. He was chased out. He lives somewhere in Congo. They call the place Gelesu. And he was like a terror in that area until they came to a particular road. And anytime they are praying, they block a major road in Zaria. In fact, they call the place MTD, a very major road. And he was captured, or he was stopped, he was arrested, but they had a political solution at a particular point. Of course, till today, we don't hear about El Zazaki as much as we used to. The government has left him off the hook. We don't know if the case is still going on in court, which I don't think so. And for a long time, his group, the El Zazaki group, were very pushy in his release. And, you are in Abuja, so you know what happens here. Now, this kind of solution, of course, a lot of people must have spoken to El Zazaki, they reached the political solution. Don't you think that one is good for the eastern part of Nigeria as well?
You see, the case of the El Zazaki and that of Nnamdi Kanu, they are apart. Reason being that El Zazaki is just a religious case, trying to bring out his own religion that is a unique way of the Islam that is different from the one that is known. And I think some persons within the Islamic Muslim community felt it's not the right way to go, whether it's too violent, like you said, or something like that. And it was still the Muslim within the government that calmed down on him. But this here is a case of a man who wants to secede, who is saying that in every country, if there's a civil war after 50 years, these people had the right
to ask for a
referendum to say whether they still want to remain with this country or they want to go their separate way, which is the original cause of the war in the first place. You see, the Eastern people, they are Republican by nature. Like you said yesterday, their inability of living together, of saying one thing as a group, has been their greatest problem. Yes, the only solution to Nnamdi case, I think, is a political solution. There's no many words about it. Like I said, the federal government, in the person of Ahmed Tinubu, has showed that it can provide this solution in the person of Lawal Farouk. Nnamdi Kanu is an individual, and like he said, he's highly respected in the East, whether you like it or not. And politicians are not comfortable with him. So, for me, I felt strongly that if Tinubu can win Nnamdi Kanu to himself before 2027 election, that would be a plus for him. So, forget about all this buhaha. The solution is in the hand of Mr. President,
federal government,
so that he can, put his hands together, that would be a plus. It will be one of his greatest achievements, because it means that he has succeeded in bringing peace to the southeast region, and that will revive the economy of the eastern region. There will be no sit at home. There will be nothing like that. The economy will start booming. That's a plus for him. I think Mr. President should exploit that option of sitting down with Nnamdi Kanu and discuss with him one-on-one and let them agree so that we can put this to an end. We don't need to involve a third party. He has all what it takes. After all, he didn't even sit down with Farouk before he released. And yet, Farouk is expressing gratitude.
But in the case of the Niger Delta, for example,
yes,
we had Goodluck Jonathan as vice president to Yaradua. Goodluck was vice president to Yaradua at the point, and they gave amnesty to.
Yes, thank you very much for that point. You see, when the creeks of the Niger Delta were very volatile, it happened. God bless his soul. Time of Musa Yaradua, he invited them to Abuja and he sat down with them. He didn't want any third. Even there was a story that when Topolo came to Abuja for the first time, he didn't know who Yaradua is, and when Yaradua said, he responded. The chief of defense wanted to say, Yaradua said, allow him to express himself, and that's what provides solution to the Niger Delta today. So these are the kind of things I'm advocating for. Tinubu, you just brought the solution. In fact, and this one you don't need to invite, it's already by your
side.
So you
seek an audience with him.
Let them bring it to you. Sit down with him and make him see why it's better for us to remain as one country than to separate, and what he can benefit. That's what Yara made Tompolo and others to understand, and what made them to drop their arms.
See,
the president can do same here too.
In Nigeria, most of our leaders, they are reactive and not proactive. See, even the Niger that you mentioned now, when he was boarding, don't forget, Yaradua engaged them. He engaged them militarily. They fought. So after that, they saw that this cannot guarantee victory. So that's why I call it. As I said, when he was released, Abuja was unsafe. They were willing to die. Every Friday, we see them on the street. They will march, they will block the road. They saw that shooting these people cannot resolve these things. And then you look for a solution. You've kept this guy in court for long. He has not resolved it. He went to court. You are lost. Let's resolve this thing and move on. See, this is not good for the Nigerian image for me, because surely that I know very well, it's not about to stop. Instead, they will look for more information and dish out on the street. And let the world know that these guys, you are winchunting in. They might even bring ethnic coloration to it. Is it because they are from Southeast? This government does not need this distraction. This government has not been able to fulfill their mandate. So they should take away this distraction and focus on governance and things that are important.
But this government has also won the governors of the southeastern part of the country. Apart from Abia now, every governor in the southeast are now in APC. If it's not doing well, why will they win them? Why will they be able to win them? Because they want to align with the good work of Mr. President.
You are saying as if it's on South. It's every other part of Nigeria. They all join APC. So it's a move now. And I have said this before.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I'll say it
if
again.
They are not doing, if Mr. President is not doing well, why would they want to align with Mr. President?
Because he wants all of them to come back.
Who wants all of them to come back?
Mr. President, I can only wait now. I can only guarantee you come back if he's in his party. You see, he went to National Assembly. I mentioned that he went to stand on Yamade Shatan. He thought that they're all coming back. And you are coming back does not involve PDP. I'm not in control of PDP. So for you to enjoy that promise, you have to join the APC. That was the reason for the movement. So the governors, for them to get their second tenure, they have to move. It's not about policy. It's not about self-preservation.
So what will be your take on Nnamdi Kanu finally?
For me, the court is... I think he should be in court on the 23rd. Let them sit on the case and let's decide to move on. If they find him guilty, let him face the law.
A lot of people have been arrested, including Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer and brother. Yes.
And police and I think 8 more people.
So, what do you think that the government is aggravating this case more other than solving it?
That is how they do their things. That is how Nigerian government behave. But I'm glad they will be taking them to court today, as they said. want to know on what case they are charging them. Say this protest is unlawful, and they obtain a court, what do they call it, to stop this protest. And based on that, they are charging them for staging unlawful protest. Let's see how it will
But the mastermind of the protest was not arrested, Philip.
You see, I don't know, because when you say the protest is unlawful, that you
That's what police say. Don't
that
you?
you obtain a court order to restrain the protester. What the order they claim they have says that they are restricted. The protest was not entirely banned by the court, but they were restricted from not going to a certain area in the city,
especially the State House.
Yes, the Villa, the Supreme Court, the Eagle Square, and Chelsea Gariwe, and the rest of them. So, if people protest, it depends on where you arrested these people. If they are not arrested within this mentioned area, so they have not violated any court order.
But do you think they are aggravating this case by this arrest?
Well, you see, they've arrested them, and then they have to prove their case in court. Whether they are aggravating or not, I will not say of that, but I think sincerely that what I've said here is a political solution. Yes, they may be arrested, they get to court, they find nothing on it, they will ask them to go. There's nothing wrong. If police arrest you, they are kind of their normal duty, but the other thing is for them to prove their case, that what they arrested you for, you are culpable of it. So that shouldn't be an issue. It shouldn't be that it's aggravating or not, but what the government should do, we have said the solution to this problem is in the hand of Mr. President. We have said it and we say it again. Mr. President, the solution to this problem, or this quagmire, is in your hand. Use it and free the country from this buhaha. And it will add to your credit, and it will also help your re-election in 2027.
Okay, all right. We'll be waiting for more information on the Nnamdi Kanu's case. We've already established that the Nnamdi Kanu's case, everybody has a right of freedom in a country, especially when you are found not guilty. What Nnamdi Kanu is asking for is not, of course they said it's secession, but we already heard also that if a country has a civil war, they have a right for a referendum. Well, they also know how to go about it, whether there should be a referendum or not. But we'll keep tab on these matters, on Nnamdi Kanu, the ones that have been arrested, and we'll keep on updating you. Thank you for staying with us. It's still Landslide News.